How about now?
We were definitely muted.
Are we good?
So did it do the thing when we put the intro up?
I think, yeah. We're experimenting with some new things.
Yeah, there's been a lot of changes to StreamYard since
It's
we
been a
took our
hot minute.
break.
It's been a hot minute since we did our live streams on a regular basis. Yes, audio is now good. Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Tim.
We
You
would have
didn't
literally
miss-
done the whole
yeah,
thing and never known.
just
so.
like the previous time.
Well, that was like 3 years ago.
That was season. We were just. I was. You all you missed.
The
was,
joke was we saw season 3 and Katie started laughing, even though she's seen it like
I know.
150 times.
It just hit me. I was like,
season three, like we're a network television show,
Yeah.
and I'm like, we're just not a popular one. And then that was it. That was the whole thing.
That was the thing.
So we've
So
been doing this
hi.
for 3 years, and apparently we still suck at it.
Hey.
Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us. Tim, thank you for catching our disastrous premiere here. We have some things to talk about tonight. And usually the transition from spooky season, we say scary to merry. The overnight November 1st transition from scary to merry
It's
is
too jarring for
brutal.
us.
It is absolutely, it destroys our souls. It makes us sad to exist. But eventually we do get on board the merry train.
I did watch 2 Christmas related movies / shows today. I didn't watch the whole show. So I'm getting in the spirit.
Sometimes what we do, if you know us, if you're watching us for the first time, then you wouldn't know this about us and we'll seem weird, but we are weird, so that's fine. If you know us, you know how much we love spooky season and haunts and whatnot. So a big part of us transitioning from scary to merry is just like easing it in a little bit with like, we'll put on like Krampus, or the other day we watched Black Christmas.
Black Christmas.
Which you didn't like so much.
I prefer
But
Krampus.
Krampus is more, I think, general audiences. It's certainly not for the younger audience, but Tim says, Halloween vibes, 24/7, 365. Creepmas! Yeah.
Yay.
We're going to talk about a lot of
We are
that.
going to talk about...
So tonight's live stream, you may have noticed we're in our slightly more Christmassy attire. We are transitioning now from scary to merry, and part of how we do that is by talking about some of the things that get us excited about the holiday season. In general, spooky season is our season, but Christmas, holiday season in general, it brings a different type of vibe, and there are things that we like about that vibe and things that we do get excited about that vibe. So we're going to talk a lot about that tonight. Before we get moving, we do want you all to know about our socials. Tim and Katie on Facebook and YouTube. Obviously, if you're watching it on YouTube right now, so you know one of those things. We also have a Facebook. We also have Instagram and Threads, on which we are The Real Tim and Katie. timandkatie.net is our website where we'll often post blogs, and some of them can be opinion pieces, and a lot of them can be like
embellishments on
compliment
things.
pieces, compendiums.
Yeah.
But we're a little bit behind on the website, so you don't need to go looking at that right
And
this
in
second.
case you're wondering, these are the social medias that we have, and these are the ones we will keep.
We will have, yes. That is worth noting, is that I know that Blue Sky is picking up steam. TikTok has been around forever.
But
Everyone says we should have
we
them.
never had a Twitter account, so we don't need to ditch Twitter for Blue Sky. So
we don't. This is what we can keep up with.
Yeah,
realistically,
keep
like it's tough for us to manage what we've got. So we wanna really make sure that we're keeping up with what we've already committed.
So make sure you maintain at least one of these other things if you're going Blue Sky.
Interested in
if you
following us.
want to keep up with us.
I do want to get back in the habit of doing theme park news, but we only have a couple of key stories tonight, and mostly because these are the key stories that were key to us, that impacted our week, like opening. There's theme park news all over the world every day, and especially with IAAPA Expo going on right now, there's a lot of news coming out of different parks talking about the new trains, the new coasters, whole new theme parks opening up, the Six Flags and the Emirates doing all these record-breaking rides and whatnot. All of that is super cool. You can check out actual theme park channels to get all of that news. So I don't feel the obligation to cover every single thing, but I do want to talk about a few of the touch points that have impacted our week. And the two biggest stories out, and it's really just one story, but two stories that happened kind of simultaneously from the same park. Six Flags Great Adventure is not that far from us, y'all. We actually have a vlog there from 2020. It's not our finest. I went back and looked at it very recently to see if it was like something worth resharing, and it's not one that I'm like, nah, I don't think so. So Six Flags Great Adventure is shutting down not one, not two, not three, but 4 different attractions, 2 of them being some of the biggest attractions currently at the park. For very different reasons. The one pictured here is King Ka, and that is we call it a novelty credit, the coaster that has a lot of accolades and a lot of records, and it's in a lot of people's hearts as being like, I rode what it was, is the tallest coaster in the world. I believe at one point it held the record for the fastest 0 to however many miles per hour launch as well. I don't know what that mile per hour is off the top of my head. Lots of coaster enthusiasts can comment and get that in a heartbeat. We've ridden it, I think, 4 times.
Yeah, at least.
So we got the credit. We got our fill. It got considerably rougher between our first ride in, wow, it wasn't even 2020. It was like 2016, 2015. Yeah. Like it was like a while ago.
Oh my gosh, it might have been earlier than that.
It was long before we started vlogging first trip to Six Flags Great Adventure.
It may have been before 2014 too. Anyway,
this coaster is going away. It has officially been retired, and a lot of people are really upset about it for a couple of different reasons. I do feel like Six Flags, Tim got it, 156 miles per hour.
It's quite a launch.
It's quite a launch. It does pack a punch. A lot of people are really upset about this going away, not just because it's going away, and it is still, for the moment, until it gets torn down, it is the world's tallest coaster. It's no longer the world's tallest operating coaster because they have ceased operations for the season, and they're telling us they've ceased operations permanently. A lot of people are upset about it because, number one, it was the novelty credit, it was the record holder. It's very intense, and a lot of people really like how intense it was. We're not all about intensity in the coasters that we ride, so as we felt that ride getting rougher, we had already kind of like soft sworn it off. Like every time we go to Six Flags Great Adventure, which is not a short trip, it's like a 3.5-hour drive for us. It's close enough that we can do it in a day, but we don't like to. So every time we went, we would look at King Ka and we'd be like, I've done it. And then we'd go do something like Nitro that was a little bit more enjoyable for us. But I recognize its value as a very important coaster to many people.
As I plenty much made my peace with it. And I think the sad thing is losing a record holder so close to us, I think, and having that record holder be in the United States. That's what's sad, but the coaster itself, I won't miss.
I believe it is in Portaventura. I think Red Force or Red One or whatever it is. Red One's the movie. Red Force, I believe, is the name. It's in Ferrari Land, but it's sure to be displaced rather quickly by the
Yeah.
Six Flags and Emirates.
So, and I doubt, if it's replaced with anything, it's going to, be another record holder like that. So.
This therein lies the news. So another reason that people are very upset about this coaster coming down is because Six Flags made no announcement about it. Nothing.
Yeah. That's also true.
When asked about it, most comments back from Six Flags Great Adventure, and which is now like a Cedar Fair partner, most comments back from that conglomerate were, "We'll have more to talk about it later." And that's not very satisfying to a bunch of coaster enthusiasts this is a coaster that like a lot of people plan their entire vacation around. Like, we're going to travel to Six Flags Great Adventure to ride all these amazing attractions. This credit is, it is something.
I think it is also a shame that people couldn't really get to say goodbye without.
A lot of people did. A lot of people. There were rumors that it was coming down, and there have been rumors that it was on its way out for a while. So I know that a lot of people made an effort, but I think it's more for the general public that I feel sorry for, because coaster enthusiasts, we all got the rumblings.
A few weeks ago, you were like on like coaster Reddit is
subreddit roller
coaster whatever is there's a rumor that King to Ka's done, and it turned out to be true. So
it's okay. I mainly go for Superman's also pretty good.
That ride I do enjoy, but you mentioned there's not one, not two, but 4 rides going down.
So Green Lantern.
So long, sucker. I hate this ride.
This is the ride that made Katie hate stand-up coasters, but then the surf coaster at SeaWorld brought her back. So this ride was incredibly rough. It was a transplant. I don't know if you knew that. And it was much smoother, I'm told, before it was transplanted. But in all the years it operated at Six Flags Great Adventure, it was a nightmare. I believe that part of the consensus on why these rides are being removed is because they are maintenance monsters. King to Ka in particular, like, to maintenance that ride, Intamin, who was the original manufacturer, they don't make these parts as regularly anymore. It's pretty much exclusively to keep these rides in operation. And it's a huge budget suck, especially for a world record ride of that height for King to Ka. It just became, I think, a money pit for Six Flags Great Adventure. And I think when Cedar Fair and Six Flags merge, they're just looking for every opportunity to cut costs so that they can smooth operational efficiency.
Yep.
So we're losing these 2 rides, and between these 2 rides, actually, I didn't even think about this, but there's 5 rides going down. Between these 2 rides, we also had a parachute attraction, and we had the Skyway, which are all disappearing.
Honestly, I think the one I'm most disappointed about is the Skyway.
It did cut down on the walking.
But it was fun, and it was a nice view. And I think it's a shame to lose like a slow-moving, kind of more family-friendly transport ride, because sometimes in a park, you like Six Flags, they're few and far between because they're so focused on building thrill rides. So yeah, I think that was the one I was like, huh.
I also do think that's a bummer. But
a bummer.
We're also, and I didn't even register this until we started talking about it, but we're also losing the ride that was inherently affixed to, that's what Tim was just,
the drop tower.
The drop tower, Zumanjaro.
Zumanjaro, yeah.
Yeah, the one that's attached to King to Ka is coming down with King to Ka, because there's no reason to leave that open if King to Ka is not operating ever again. So they're going to tear down the structure. Now, to your point, Katie, the good news is I don't have any major news about what it's going to be. I don't think anyone does yet. But in 2026, they are opening a multi-world record-breaking coaster that occupies this entire layout. They haven't said any more than that, but they have said that they're making way for a brand new attraction that is going to shatter world records. I doubt it's going to be the tallest, because I don't think they want to mess with that level of maintenance again. But it's going to be something-est on several levels. And it's going to occupy, that's a lot of acreage that we're talking about between...
Are they going to try to beat, like, number of inversions or something like that?
Probably. I can't guarantee that the experience is going to be for me. Tim says he's heard about a mock extreme spinner.
Is that like Ride to Happiness?
Yeah. Ride to Happiness or Time Traveler. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that was an option, but I will say I'm not going to be as excited about that in Six Flags Great Adventure, because...
They're not going to do the theming, right?
Exactly. Exactly that. Ride to Happiness at Plopsaland and
Time
Traveler at
Silver Dollars.
Silver Dollar City. Those two attractions are in the woods, in an area, or in Plopsaland's case, in an area that has been immersive and atmospherically themed to match the theming of the attraction. And it works really, really well. I'm not saying that Six Flags Great Adventure lacks that capacity, because they did just open like a new resort complex that's like the Safari Kingdom or whatever. And I think that's really cool, really stupid expensive, and we're probably never going to be able to do it, but it's there.
We'll be staying at the Hampton Inn across the street.
I just don't think that if the plan is to cut costs, I don't think they're going to go the extra mile to do theming around.
It'll end up.
I think it'll be a good ride. It'll be a good ride.
The Pantheon treatment of nice ride, but suck theming.
We put a rock in the queue. Do you like the rock?
Do you like the rock?
It's for you, the people. Anyway, so those are the big announcements out of Six Flags Great Adventure, is that we're losing 2 big tier rides, 3 mid-tier rides, and we're getting 1 supposedly god tier ride in 2026. But I don't know if it's going to be
over 9,000.
as exciting. I don't know if it's a good trade, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. You're, in terms of actual attractions, you're trading 5 for 1. I don't know if you're going to get what you're hoping to get out of that. But if it is a record breaker the way they imply it is, it might still be a big draw for enthusiasts. And I think that's what they want to keep.
I think it would be foolish not to do something to draw enthusiasts back, because I think Kingda Ka was absolutely drawing people.
Jersey Devil and Nitro are still great coasters to go to the park.
The park
for.
itself
El Toro is always going to be king of the Woodies in the Northeast.
I thought part of that rumor was El Toro was also on the chopping
block.
El
Toro is good for a while.
Okay.
El Toro, we were worried about El Toro for a while because of the accidents, but they identified the problem and fixed it. It's easier to maintain a wooden coaster than it is a steel coaster. But anyway.
All right, what else do we have for news?
More news. So this is not the
Donkey Kong.
You wouldn't even know the DK rap if not for Super Mario Brothers the movie. Anyway,
I played Donkey Kong.
Not 64. Okay, so Donkey Kong Country.
You would have to deal with
at Universal Studios Japan. This is not our local Donkey Kong Country coming to Epic Universe, but it soon will be. Coaster Mom!
Hi!
What's up? You just missed our farewell to Kingda Ka. Speaking of coaster enthusiasts. Well, this also kind of links to a coaster because Donkey Kong has Minecart Madness, or I don't know what the official Japanese translation is. It's going to be called Minecart Madness at Epic Universe. So we have an official opening date for the Donkey Kong expansion at Universal Studios Japan. This will be opening significantly before our Donkey Kong equivalent in the Super Mario or Super Nintendo World area at Epic Universe. Theirs is opening December 11th, and that will be our first opportunity to kind of peek inside and see, like, we've heard about concepts of how these rides and attractions might work, but we've not yet seen what it actually looks like.
I think a lot of us have probably seen the, like, BTS footage of, like, the jumping cart
or the rendering,
or
like
maybe it's more of a rendering.
I know Amusement Insider does a lot of like CGI renders of how it might look, and I honestly, like, guys, you can call me out if you want to. I know there are coaster enthusiasts that watch. I love these kind of attractions. I am 100% all in on theming. Like, I will take a themed coaster that is like family and lasts like 5 seconds. I will take Tron over Kingda Ka. I will take Tron over Kingda Ka, y'all. That is the kind of person I am. So, Donkey Kong Country is going to be just bananas, pun very much intended. And so I am super excited to see. So funny. I am super excited to see what it actually looks like. Oh, and speaking
I hope you do go.
2 tickets.
I know you guys actually see many things.
Our friends Chad and Vanessa here, they have been to Universal Studios Japan at least once and hoping to go back shortly. But yeah, guys, if you do go, you will have the opportunity to do this, and if you don't do it, we can't be friends anymore. Because I need to have I need to live vicariously through you. I'm kidding, of course. We love you guys. Oh yeah, Coaster Mom is talking about Field of Screams Haunted Sleigh Ride, which is going to be a subject of discussion later on this evening, actually. So we will talk about that.
You think we weren't going to talk about the Christmas haunts?
It's us. Come on. Okay. Well, that's the end of the theme park news I prepared. Obviously, with IAAPA going on, we do have more announcements that have dropped today, including one from Epic Universe talking about the new Harry Potter attraction, which does look significantly cooler than I thought it was going to. I am super excited for all things Epic Universe, but we're probably not going to be able to go next year. And that is a money thing, a logistics thing, and we already had so much stuff on the calendar for next year. So we'll make it happen when it happens.
We do have other places we want to go than Florida, even though there's a lot of fun stuff.
There's a lot of fun stuff in Florida, but there's a lot of fun stuff elsewhere too.
Stuff everywhere.
I think maybe at the beginning of next year, after things are more solidified, because we have started making some bookings and whatnot, we may do a live stream on our travel plans for 2025.
Probably.
5? Yes, 5.
Probably.
2025.
Yeah.
I forgot what year it was. That's the kind of week it's been. Okay.
The truth.
Our favorite holiday events. So this is what we actually wanted to talk about tonight.
Hey, we did theme park news in about 20 minutes.
We did.
There's only 2 things.
And that counts like 30 seconds of dead air where we didn't know our audio was working and discussing all of our socials. Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
We're doing good.
So as we mentioned, for those who are just joining, holiday is not as much our vibe as spooky season, but there are things that we love about the holiday season that we get kind of excited about when we think about, oh, well, the haunts are ending for the year, but also there's all this cool stuff. And this is some of the cool stuff. So we wanted to do a stream talking about some of the things that get us excited for the holiday season, some events we've attended before and that we might recommend that you try out, or even if you're just looking for a non-traditional holiday experience, there are some options here for you. We might do a live stream on events we haven't attended that we'd like to.
Yeah, we have some bucket list holiday things too.
Skate Charlie.
Hello.
Yo.
It is. Well, now you've covered it up.
Well,
so.
I was giving context.
It says making spirits bright. It was a gift from.
You might have to stand up.
Haley.
I don't know if you can.
Well, I was showing the hitchhiking ghost. It says making spirits bright all the way down.
There you go.
Thanks for noticing.
There will be some theme parks in here too. We will. There's a reason we're dressed the way we are. I'll say that. Starting with mine. So every year,
many people should recognize that view.
Every year we do Hershey Park Christmas Candy Lane. We started doing it last year on Sundays, and I don't think we're ever going back to Fridays or Saturdays because the Sunday vibe is immaculate. We're close enough. We're very blessed to be able to call Hershey Park our home park. It is not technically closer than Six Flags America, but it is close enough that we can differentiate between the two and be like, this one is the one we go to.
Especially when you're driving home at night and there's like next to no traffic.
Yeah.
It's only like a little over an hour and we can usually still get ourselves to bed and drag ourselves out of bed in the morning the next day.
So the reason, Skate Charlie's already been. Did you do Candy Lane Skate Charlie? Or
yeah,
did you do, because it opened this
past weekend, yeah.
But I don't know if everything was up and running because I know some of the stuff does start later. So let us know if you did do Candy Lane specifically because we love it. We are actually going this weekend. We will probably be going on Sunday. And that's if, nothing goes wrong. We've been on and off sick for the last 3.5 weeks, but we're hoping that's over now. Oh, go to Candyland on opening night. Really? No crowds at all? Well, it's Friday.
I think it's early too. People may not have
transitioned
into their
holiday.
A
lot of people transition on November 1st, but
yeah, I don't know.
I don't. The reason we like Candy Lane, there's a couple things that make this event unique. Obviously, Christmas lights are a main draw for a lot of these events. We love looking at light displays. It makes our hearts full during the holiday season. So Hershey Candy Lane has 5 million lights. They also offer breakfast with Santa at the Chocolatier, which is not free. It's not included in your park ticket, but it is something that you can add on, and it's fun. And the chocolate butter is to die for.
I did like the chocolate butter.
We have vlogs on that. If you're interested, I will link everything after the live stream is done and put it in the description. They also have, speaking of the chocolate butter, seasonal snacks throughout the park. They do hot cocoa carts as well.
Yep.
If you have an all-season drink plan, like you're a season pass holder, that just gets rolled over into a hot cocoa
I think
all season.
Skate Charlie's talking about
He is.
the
Man,
hot
we
chocolate.
are right on the same
We are
page.
on the same page.
Hot chocolate and the amazing night rides. Yes, most of the coasters do start shutting down for the colder temperatures, but as they've been adding new coasters over the last 5 years, they've made sure that those coasters are weathered so that they can operate. Now, that's not to say they'll always be open, but Candemonium and Wildcats Revenge have been open during the holiday season as long as it stays above, I think, 38 degrees.
Yeah, if it gets too cold, they can't.
If it gets too cold, it becomes unsafe to operate. But normally, you can operate those attractions. Now, things like Sky Rush and Storm Runner, Fahrenheit, they'll all be down for the season. But the newer attractions are built to withstand the colder
But you're
weather.
going to go and enjoy the lights. You can. There's a nice holiday overlay for.
Already sold out.
Dang.
For all the nights.
Well, remember for next year.
Dates. Man, that was quick.
Man, I feel like we didn't book it that early in advance.
I don't think we did. Maybe they're offering less of it.
Yeah.
It's a cute thing you can do. It's not a necessity.
And it's not like the only place you can do breakfast with Santa either.
You can also, Chocolate World isn't technically part of Hershey Park, but if you go next door to Chocolate World, you can meet the Grinch. You can also
that's
do
cute.
Breakfast with Mrs. Claus at Hershey's Chocolate World, which is a separate package, and you have to buy it separately. But it's a thing. 32 degrees.
And you can still
Triple Towers.
Meet Santa at Hershey.
Oh yeah, and all his 9 reindeer.
And all the reindeer, including Rudolph, which is one of our favorite things to do. It's so cute, and the reindeer handlers are so nice. They'll answer any of your questions. It's just very, I don't know.
They're actual reindeer.
Yes.
I'm not saying we're not saying it's like Hershey Kisses dressed up with. No, it's actual
biological reindeer.
Biological. They are brought in from an outside agency or care facility, and they stay there for the winter time. And it's really, really cool. And Zoo America, actually, the adjacent zoo, takes care of them during the season, so they share employees during that.
Yeah. So you definitely have to go and say hi to the reindeer. It's super, super cute. And I don't know how many theme parks do that. Like have a little reindeer.
I can't think of any others off the top of my head.
I'm sure there may be some, but in the area, well, it does make him harder to pick out. You can ask him. You can ask the handlers why, and they say it only glows when he's needed. So
you don't need him enough.
You don't. Well, no, he doesn't need. He's resting. He doesn't need to lead Santa's sleigh.
It's battery operated, and he waits to put in fresh batteries.
Or maybe you don't have enough Christmas spirit. I don't know. One of those things might be true.
I do want to touch really quickly just to make sure that we're not acknowledging it. But Tim mentioned Sweet Lights, which is a drive-through experience. We're going to talk later on about drive-through experiences as a whole, and Sweet Lights is kind of our prime example. Yeah. So that is another thing you can do on Hershey property. It's just a separate.
Yes, specifically if you're at Hershey Park, which is adjacent to Chocolate World, you can do all of those things we previously mentioned. Sweet Lights is a separate bioluminescence. That's it. That for the reindeer knows.
The world of Avatar. But reindeer.
But Sweet Lights is close. You can, and when you're, depending on where you're coming from and what time of day, you can totally see the Sweet Lights from the road too, which is kind of fun. And from, the towers and Kissing Tower and all that stuff.
Oh, Kissing Tower is really fun.
Yeah, things we recommend you definitely do. Do the cars, do the Kissing Tower. Go see
Laugh Track.
Do Laugh Track.
Laugh Track has a holiday overlay that's really, really cool.
Do the train. And I think those are the ones where you can get all the different vantage points of the lights. You can, if you can make it happen, if you get on the Sky Ride at the right time when Noel goes off.
Noel is the light show. That you're looking at right now.
It's a fun little hack to see if you can time it right and watch the light show from your gondola. So
if you've ever wondered, if you're a Hershey Park regular, and then you know that during the Halloween season, the Laugh Track, the interior roller coaster is just pitch black.
I feel like I was about to say that and I got distracted.
The reason that Laugh Track is pitch black for the Halloween season is not because that experience is so much better in the dark. It's because if they leave the lights off, you can't see that they're
There's a
working
big
on
Christmas
hanging like
tree.
a giant Christmas tree and all of these different like plaques that have to go up. It's really cool. It does not happen overnight. That overlay is very extensive, and it takes a couple of weeks. So
Laugh Track is definitely
the Christmas overlay is definitely something that
I saw Coaster on the Sky.
Said
I bet that's
Skyways closed.
because of the
yes.
S&S
We have a
construction.
new ride coming to Hershey Park
Well,
in 2025.
Keep that sky view in mind for next year, because as long as they don't, I mean, I don't think the sky view is going anywhere, but it is. I mean, you can see it in this picture. The gondola is actually
You can just kind of
in the background. Keep it in mind. It's a fun little hack.
I believe that Candy Lane will be our first holiday vlog of the season. So we will have all of this pretty well covered for you, whatever the current situation is over the next couple of weeks. It will not be immediate, but that vlog will be dropping shortly. So keep an eye out for that from us. And if you see us at Hershey Park for Candy Lane, make sure to say hi.
Yeah.
We love talking to y'all. Speaking of other theme parks, this might be my favorite theme park holiday.
Christmas Town.
Christmas Town at Busch Gardens. Now, Busch Gardens has several locations, or at least two. Williamsburg, Virginia, which is our home Busch Gardens park, and also Busch Gardens Tampa, and both of them do Christmas Town. Williamsburg has the weather that is appropriate for Christmas Town. It actually does get quite cold in Williamsburg.
Cold, and you want that hot chocolate, and you want to bundle up and be cozy, and you want to watch the carolers. And I think like Hershey has definitely has like a slightly different flavor of Christmas than Busch Gardens is. Busch Gardens Christmas Town, I don't know, it has that like, I don't know, like a snow globe feel, like because of the architecture and whatnot. Like you walk in and you feel like you're walking into like an actual like Santa Claus movie. I don't know how I feel to describe it.
Largely because of the European influence of Busch Gardens Williamsburg, I feel very strongly that Busch Gardens Williamsburg, walking into Christmas Town, I mean, officially walking in, you're walking into London, but for the rest of your day, it really does feel like you're in more of a German Christmas village, like a traditional Christmas market, but expanded into an entire theme park. And yes, exactly that. Christmas Town feels traditional.
I think that's where
Hershey
I was trying
modern.
to go, like walking into like a snow globe.
That is exactly it.
Yeah.
I think, and
both are good.
Yeah,
like,
they're both
I'm
great.
glad they're different, because I wouldn't want to go to like a carbon copy of the same thing. That wouldn't be as fun.
Busch Gardens Williamsburg also has, if not more, at least the same amount of live entertainment during the holiday season as a Disney park.
Yes.
Holiday specific, like you're not gonna.
We have tried like 2 years in a row to do it all,
and in a weekend, like you can't do it all. Like
we never can. We can't catch every pop-up show. We can't catch every big show, and we end up sacrificing either the stage play or the ice skating show and if you're trying to do it all, we realized very quickly last year it's not as fun. It's more fun to just pick out a few things you want to do, enjoy the lights, enjoy walking around. Like more important things to do, I think, at Busch Gardens for us have become making sure we do the train, because the train is great.
They do a lot with the Busch Gardens Railroad.
We want to say hi to Father Christmas, because he is amazing and the best and very like Scottish, and I love it so much. And what are some things that like you'd say your must-dos are at Busch Gardens?
Going back to light displays, Busch Gardens has double the amount of lights of Candy Lane at 10 million, and most of the lights that fall under that number are one on this giant Christmas tree, which is the Tannenbaum tree in the Festhaus Market, and that will have a regular show, like a projections.
It's like their Noel show.
It's very, very cool. And also, earlier this past year, they did for the first time a projection show and an LED display on the Pompeii. They always have an amazing
cascading
draped lights that kind of like replicate like the water flowing down. It's really, really cool. but they've never had like animated lights on it before. And while I don't think seeing the animated light show is like do or die for this event, I do think that the sheer volume of lights on that display and walking up and seeing them, especially if you do catch the show, I think it is incredible to see.
The other thing that Busch Gardens has is the Celtic Fire Dancers. Now,
they are available year round.
They are. You have the Celtic Fire show, and for a few years when things were still kind of like COVID was still restricting some things, they did like a Christmas version of the Celtic Fire show. But now during the Christmas season, there is a new kind of like biblical story of Christmas in the Celtic Fire. What is it? The Abbey Stone Theater.
Abbey Stone Theater.
And the Irish dancers have a outdoor show that goes off a few times a day where they do some caroling, some dancing, and play, traditional Irish instruments. And that's really cool. So we'd like to catch that at least while we're there too. So there's a lot
I
to
also really like, so Busch Gardens has a license on the Rudolph characters.
Yeah.
So it's almost random where Rudolph pops up though. Like Rudolph and what's the elf's name that I always forget?
Oh, the dentist.
The dentist elf. Well, the dentist elf.
Now I'm just singing the Misfit song in my head.
The dentist elf, the snowman, like all of these characters will have like meet and greets on property during this season only, which is fun if you're a character person. Like Katie said, meeting Father Christmas is also great.
Hermie? That sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can believe Hermie. Hermie the dentist elf. So all the character meets at Busch Gardens Christmas Town are great. In addition to the IP-based characters, you do have, as Katie pointed out, like the carolers. You have actual Santa Claus.
Yep.
You have the gingerbread man that we met last year.
Yeah.
They keep adding new experiences.
And then they have like the elves that are accompanying Santa Claus sometimes roam outside, and they're always so cute.
And they are always in character.
And
they never break
fun to
for
talk
a second.
To. And they have the cutest outfits. It's so cute. So.
And some of them may or may not be vocalists that perform later on stage. So it's a lot of people are pulling double duty to make this magical, and magical it is. I think Busch Gardens Christmas Town is probably it's the best local to us vibes park experience at the holiday season.
Yeah.
So I love Christmas Town. I highly recommend it to everyone. We've not done Tampa's, but Williamsburg is a must-do for us every year.
I just don't know why I don't know. I wouldn't want to miss out on Williamsburg. It's just
I'm not saying we go to Tampa's.
No, I'm just saying there is something, like you said, like when it is actually chilly and I don't know, I just feel like
when you get to wear a nice coat and carry around hot cocoa and feel like that is the proper thing to do while experiencing that, it just brings out a different vibe.
Yeah.
Now, we trolled Disney a little bit just a second ago, saying that Busch Gardens had almost as much live entertainment as Disney. This is a picture of Disneyland's castle, which still currently does the dream lights during the holiday season.
Yeah, you'll
more
probably
than you can say
never
for
see
the Walt
dream
Disney
lights
World
on
Castle.
Walt Disney World Castle.
We have done Disney Holiday at all 6 domestic Disney parks. So this is Disneyland. We've done Disney California Adventure, which is right across the street. We've done all 4 of the Florida parks, all during the holiday season. And there is something magical about it.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to top Disney for atmosphere during the holiday season. It's also way more expensive than the other 2 options we've mentioned so far. So we don't do this every year.
I will say, though, I don't know if, besides like the castle, which if you are at Disneyland, you get to see the castle look like
they don't do quite as many lights.
Yeah, like they're just like Main Street's cute, but Main Street is almost always kind of pretty. It's almost always lit up. So I don't think you necessarily get like the massive amounts of light displays that you would.
They do have Small World Holiday in
that is
Disneyland.
True.
Not in Disney World, but in Disneyland.
Disneyland, that is true.
I think as a park, Disneyland does a better job of emphasizing the things we like about the holidays. But DCA across the street in California, Disney California Adventure does have the Viva Navidad street party, which
and
is
they
just
have
so fun.
Then they have Festival of the Holidays.
Festival of the Holidays for all the food.
Yeah.
And then, of course, jumping over to Florida, Animal Kingdom brings out the Merry Menagerie.
Which we only got to see for like a second.
Very
but
brief.
I know that they're there.
They're like the lifelike puppets carved of wood that like are brought out by puppeteers that make them seem like real creatures. Yeah. And they move and they talk like real people.
A polar bear. Well, real animals.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Real people.
Yeah, I kind of combined my two thoughts there, but yeah, you got what I'm saying.
Like the polar bear, the little penguins.
Very natural, like the
penguins have like
bears breathe and shake their heads, and
it's cute. So I think that's really cool.
I also think that like I'm looking at my notes. Holiday ride overlays at Disney are probably the best of all the theme parks.
Jingle Cruise.
Jingle Cruise, Small World Holiday at Disneyland only, not at Disney World. Wish they would do it. Haunted Mansion Holiday at Disneyland. Even during Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party or Very Merry After Hours, depending on which event you attended, they do ride overlays that are exclusive to the event. Like Space Mountain gets like Mannheim Steamroller applied to it and all these red and green lights. So, well, we didn't do it. Oh. We were with the family. Not everyone in the family is a coaster enthusiast.
Yeah.
But I think that like there's something to be said for like if you want to escape your daily troubles during the holiday season, the stress of buying presents, the looming pressure of knowing you have to get to this gathering or that gathering, like there is an escapism in Disney that can't be replicated elsewhere.
Not even to mention like there's usually, I mean, especially I think for like Mickey's Not So Scary. Mickey's
Very Merry.
Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. There's like a special fireworks show and parade and all that stuff too. So
there is seasonal entertainment that I think is quite good.
Yeah.
Now, is it worth the amount of money that you're going to spend on that experience? That may come down to you, because everything we've talked about before this, the Hershey Candy Lane and the Busch Gardens Christmas Town experiences, they're a lot cheaper and a lot closer to us. So we do those far more often. But I think it's something that if you haven't done, it's worth doing once.
And the other thing to keep in mind about the holidays at the Disney parks is they start pretty dang early.
That's true.
So
November 1st.
You can get your holiday fix at Disneyland earlier than the week of Christmas, and that's probably significantly cheaper usually, and probably less crowds. So something to think about. Some people, if you're avoiding the Thanksgiving holiday and like the actual Christmas holiday, may have a better time. Okay.
Not all of what we're talking about tonight is theme park related. Yep. So we're moving on now to a couple of things that are less so. So this is a picture of a traditional German Christmas village, but not in Germany. This is the one that's close to us. It is replicated pretty well in the Baltimore Inner Harbor, which is very close to us, and we're Baltimore based. This is a Baltimore Christmas village, I believe it's called officially. And what a German Christmas market is it more or less exactly what it sounds like. It's a lot of really good food that's very seasonal. It's a lot of fun, like handcrafted art displays, artisans, and what do we call them? Small shops that come together. And though a lot of it is food-based, it's also just like it's atmospheric, like everything else we've been describing. Our Christmas market pictured here does have rides as well. They have like a merry-go-round and a Ferris wheel, but they're definitely designed more for kids.
Carnival rides.
Did we do them? Yes. Would we do them again?
Oh, that Ferris wheel was cold
Ferris
and
wheel,
scary.
But we did get our money's worth. We went around
That's
quite a
true.
few times.
We went around like 15 times.
I think what you're looking at here in this picture is this sculpture is like a traditional German like windmill that's erected for the market.
There's like a decoration that you light. You can kind of see the fake candles where you light the candles, and then the heat from the candles causes the top to spin, and it's very traditional. I don't know what they're called.
This is the big version, but they also sell little versions because that's
the
a
other
very
thing.
traditional gift.
In our Christmas market, you can see some outdoor vendors, but there's also a like indoor tent section, which I think depending on the day, sometimes you do have to pay like a cover charge to get into the tent.
I went back and watched we have one vlog from this event, and
we happened to be there on like one of the coldest
day of the entire season. But also on top of that, it was a game day in Baltimore, so we went on a Sunday. And it was a Ravens day, and all the parking everywhere was like $45 a car. So
we paid so much for parking.
We spent more on parking than we did on anything else at that event. But it was a fun day, nonetheless.
It was fun.
The crepes that we got from that one vendor were just like, I looked at that video recently because I was like thinking about like things I wanted to like talk about, and I got so hungry. Like I would kill for an authentic German crepe right now. Like I'm dying.
Well, I think they were French crepes, but I don't know. If an authentic German market crepe, I guess we'll say. I don't know if the Germans are known for their crepes.
Well, the thing of it is, this is a German tradition, but it's not exclusively a German thing. Like, one of the things that we wanted to touch on is the fact that a lot of American cities have picked this trend up, like Baltimore's our local one, but also
pretty sure there's some in DC.
There's some in DC. There's many in. I know there's one in Chicago. I'm pretty sure there's one in Philadelphia. There's a lot of different options if you want to check out. All you have to do is Google like authentic Christmas village or German Christmas village near me. And more likely than not, you will get something back.
Yeah.
I will also say that this again, not exclusively a German thing that happens, it just started in Germany and kind of carried over. I've heard that there are some really awesome markets in France.
Yeah.
In Paris specifically,
definitely.
A lot of people go to Paris for the holidays, and they always, we watch a lot of travel vlogs that do the Christmas markets.
One thing Paris that I think is that we forgot to mention on the German Christmas market that we went to is they do have like at that the little sculpture windmill thing. I wish I knew what it was called. Is like
we did some homework, but
like
clearly not enough.
It's like a hot wine bar, so you can go and get like the hot and vin chaud is what it's called in French, but it's basically like hot mulled wine, and it tastes really good when you're freezing.
Artisan cocoa was available there too, with like you could get it spiked, you could get it with whipped cream.
I need to find my little. I got a little like boot. My little boot that
It's a mug shaped like a boot.
Yeah.
And they give you
and it says,
discounted
like, Baltimore
refills
Christmas Village on it. Gotta find it.
It's really cute.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll be going this year. We talked about it, but I think we've got some other plans about what to do with our holiday season to kind of mix it up a little bit. So if you're interested in going though, and you're in this area, if you happen to be watching as a Baltimore native or someone within driving distance of Baltimore, ours opens on November 23rd this year. So it will be open.
Just make sure you don't go during a Ravens home game. That's all I'm saying.
If you go on a Friday or Saturday, it's less likely to be direct conflict like that.
Did you want to mention the train gardens and shopping
I guess
centers?
we can. I kind of took that out of the slideshow, so I don't have anything for it. But as part of some of these Christmas markets, this one in particular, but also like, just markets in general, if you go to like a shopping mall, a lot of places will have train gardens too. So
we just like to look at them.
Yeah.
We even like to go to
way to express the holidays on a very small scale.
To like our local garden center and like see their Christmas village and train garden set up too. It's just fun. All right.
If you know us,
you know we're talking about holiday haunts.
So speaking of non-traditional ways to celebrate the holidays, a lot of places. Is there an admission fee for the Baltimore Christmas market? Only for the heated tent.
Yeah, I think the heated tent may only charge certain days. I think it might be like if you went on like a Thursday or a Friday, they may not charge. It's on the website, but I believe as long as you can find a place to park for not $60 or whatever.
Parking is going to be wherever you find parking, whatever it costs to find that parking.
I encourage you to go into the tent. First of all, if it's really cold, the heat is nice. And that's where they have like some of the imports from Germany, like the Christmas ornaments and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Just be warned,
Here, I'll put it back.
I think we did ask if we could film some of the stuff from the imports, and depending on who was there, you may be told no or yes.
Well,
so I don't know.
those were small shops. Those were not like
But
I
I'm
mean,
talking about the big ornament section.
we were allowed to film it there.
Yes.
We were given permission to film in there. We always ask before we start
Yeah.
shooting whenever you're in close quarters like that. And a lot of what was in that tent was food still.
Yeah.
So
there
we
was still a
did
lot.
we did purchase, I think we purchased peanut butter whiskey or whatever
Yeah.
from an independent whiskey manufacturer.
It was a Maryland-based distillery.
Yeah. So like, yes, there are some vendors that are, I think they were a little more uncomfortable because they had like thrift store goods that were like, you know, used or repurposed dolls. And I didn't know if they felt a little awkward about sharing. My point is, like, you always ask permission before you film. But a lot of people are happy to have the exposure. Like, we talked with a flower merchant that was like, oh, please show everything.
Yeah.
Like,
She was
you
really
want,
cool.
You want some roses? Like, come over here. Let me show you some roses. You can take one home. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of diversity in events like these. And again, the food just made it worth it for me.
Yeah.
And I don't usually like German food because Festhaus has ruined it for me. That's the one thing I don't love at Busch Gardens.
I think there was a decent variety of food vendors. It wasn't just like bratwurst or whatever.
I'm saying. All right, back to spooky. So, holiday haunts are a very non-traditional way to celebrate the holiday season. But if you're us and you love spooky season, if you hit the holiday season and you're like, man, I'm so stressed, I wish I could go back in time, you kind of get a little fix of the Halloween season during the winter season now. There's a lot, especially near us, which I know a lot of the people watching right now are somewhat local as well. So we can list off a couple for you here. But this image is promotional from Field of Screams, where they will be having a Christmas event. We will be attending that. And that is relatively early in the season. There's actually, at this point, I think enough haunts are open for off-season Christmas events that you could do a haunt every single weekend in December.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not saying that you will or that you should, but you could.
Or at least 3. At least right here, we have 3 weekends in December. So that's pretty cool. And you could
yes.
If you could hit 2 in the same weekend too. Like if you went, like you could do a lot.
Yeah. So we will be, Coaster Mom will be at Fields.
Yeah, that's why she said I'm looking forward to the sleigh
That's
ride.
right. She did say that. Yes. So Field of Screams this year is doing something very different than they've ever done before. They're introducing the haunted sleigh ride, but sleigh is spelled SLAY.
Sleigh.
So sleigh. So they usually have during the off-season events, they typically have the 2 haunted houses open, but none of the outdoor attractions. And this year they're doing the outdoor attractions. So we'll see how that.
At least one outdoor attraction.
One outdoor attraction. Yes, sorry, not Nocturnal Wasteland. But if you are a Field of Scream fan or a fan of our videos from Field of Screams, get ready. It's going to be a fun December.
Yeah.
Other haunts that are doing their seasonal Christmas are Darkwood Manor.
And
December
that's the earliest
7th and 8th.
one.
Yes,
yeah.
That is. Isn't that the first weekend in December? Because December starts on a Monday, I think.
Yeah, that might be the first weekend in December.
So December 7th and 8th is Darkwood Manor's Christmas event. And I can't remember if they call it Krampusnacht or whatnot. Red Vein is doing Krampusnacht in Virginia on the 13th and 14th. Our friends at Lincoln Mill Haunt are doing the 13th and 14th. Harrah's Nightmare, brand new haunt in Westminster, is doing the 13th and 14th. Field of Screams is doing the 13th and the 14th. And Laurel's House of Horror, ever the trendsetters, are going to do the 21st and the 28th.
Yeah.
We will be this year at Field of Screams event on the 14th and Laurel's House of Horror on the 28th. We talked about doing the 21st, but we are actually intimately involved with some of the things going on at Laurel's House of Horror this year. If you want to see an interesting holiday thing occur, come on the 28th. If you do go to Laurel's House of Horror,
do we want to be more cryptic than that, or less cryptic than that?
I'm deciding.
Okay.
There may or may not be a character from last year's event returning who looks a little bit like me.
Yeah.
Is all I have to say.
Oh, Coaster Mom
says Kim's Cryptmas is also the same weekend at Field of Screams. Okay. Yeah. And there's more too. Like, I believe that Bennett's Curse does a holiday event. I'm sure it's probably going to be on the 13th and 14th, but I'm not 100% sure.
Of the ones we listed, we have only been to Field and Laurel's Christmas. But we can definitely recommend the others, and probably
It's hard. It's hard for us to break away from the haunt. Those two are our home haunts, right? So it's easy for us to get to them, and we love going. We know what to expect, and we also, I mean, just to be quite honest, we have permission to film at both of those haunts, so they make for good vlogs.
Yeah.
But we'd love to get out and experience some other Christmas haunts at some point, because all of the ones we mentioned here are haunts we've worked with before, and we know they put on a great show. So if you're nearby any of those, worth going out, especially if you are a spooky enthusiast. For Laurel's House of Horror, I will also say, just purely from a promotional standpoint, you can save $5 on admission by typing in Tim and Katie as a promo code. And that's literally just our channel name. So if you're going to go to Laurel's House of Horror for their Christmas event this year, save yourself a couple bucks. Use our promo code. Just us trying to help out. Okay, so holiday haunts notwithstanding, back to slightly more traditional experiences, but only slightly. Another thing you can do for the holiday season, and one of the things that we've taken to doing recently, is these drive-through haunt experiences.
Drive-through haunt? Drive-through light experience.
Drive-through light experiences. Guys, a week it has been.
It's only Tuesday.
All right. So yes, drive-through light experiences. This particular image is actually from Sweet Lights, which Tim mentioned earlier on. It's a Hershey Park offering. Not that you'd be able to tell because it looks like a lot of other drive-through light experiences, but that's kind of the point. Like you know generally what to expect from these experiences. They last about 20 minutes. You drive through at 4 miles an hour with your headlights either off or on, depending on what the stipulations are. Usually it's a nice 1.5 miles of just light displays that are set up around and above you.
Sometimes they're like, tune your radio station to this station to get like the Christmas music that matches or something. It can be fun. It can be fun. And it's a nice thing to do, especially if it maybe is a little chilly and you just want to stay in the holiday spirit, but you want to stay in the warmth of your car.
You can stay in the warmth of your car as long as you have your defroster on.
Depending on which one you go to, sometimes they charge per person, sometimes they charge per car, but
also depending on which one you go to, a percentage of what you give may go back to a charitable donation.
A lot of them, like lights. I don't think we both used to live closer to Annapolis, Maryland, and the Lights on the Bay was I think benefited Anne Arundel Medical Center.
So of the ones we've done, this again is Sweet Lights, which we've done once. We did that in 2022, and we did vlog it, so you can check that out. We've also done a vlog on the Bull Run Festival of Lights in Virginia, and we did that during COVID. So that was a no-brainer as an easy way to celebrate the holidays, but also like bear in mind things looked a little bit different. Off vlog, we have done the Lights on the Bay. We have done the Columbia Symphony of Lights in Maryland. And our friends Chad and Vanessa, though we've not done this, but Two Tickets to Adventure has a video out on Joy Through the Grove, which is at Knoebels. Yep.
Literally just mentioned that.
I just got it out before Tim mentioned it. Just barely. Tim and I are in lockstep tonight. But yeah, I mean, these are things that, as Katie said, it's a way to experience the holidays without exposing yourself to the elements. It's also potentially a way to give back, because a lot of these organizations do put that money from your ticket, a percentage of that ticket, back into a charity or a charitable donation, which is a way to, have fun and do good during the holidays.
Yeah. I think I've always enjoyed them. I love lights. I just love light displays, and I especially enjoy. I think Candy Lane did this, where there's maybe like a little like scavenger hunt or something, like look for the letters and what does it spell.
Yep, a lot of them do that.
Or look for the hidden Hershey Kisses or something. And I don't know. I love a scavenger hunt. I think it's fun. I think the most memorable one was definitely when we did the Bull Run lights, and they had that like forest section where they just had all those like dripping lights coming from the trees, and it was so pretty. In addition
to COVID rendering a lot of experiences different, this was also like the first year of our vlogging experience. So like if you do go back and watch the Bull Run Festival of Lights video, like don't expect it to be beautiful. We don't do the best job, I don't think, of conveying what the experience is like. But bear in mind too that like a lot of these experiences, if you've done one, you've had an experience that resembles most of the other experiences.
I will say,
so I wouldn't say do like 6 of them a year.
Yeah.
Like it's not worth
Like,
the money. But
either go back to the one that's close, that's familiar, or pick a new one to try. But yeah, I would agree with that. Like I don't think it's necessarily
a lot of props like the Christmas wreath you see in every single one.
Right, the big arch.
The dripping icicles. Although, as Katie said, what made the Bull Run memorable is the fact that they filled an entire forest with those dripping icicle lights. So driving through that with your headlights off, it was literally just like it was raining light. And it was so cool to look at.
Yeah.
And I think we do have some decent footage of that. But
yeah.
Again, these light experiences, there's something that's fun to do. If you've not done it ever, do it at least once. Try it out this season. It's usually not that expensive. A lot of them are prorated by car, as Katie said. So it's something to do that's a little bit atypical to the normal experience.
Oh, that's actually cute.
Because Comet,
the coaster, is one of them.
And Cupid. Yeah, and Hershey, for what it's worth, since we did our Sweet Lights tour in 2022, they've added some displays that are specific to Wildcats Revenge. And,
that's cute.
A couple other coasters. So they're not all identical.
No, but I would say like the experience is not, it's not going to be wildly different. You're going to drive through and see lights. So
there is one more category of things we put down on our list, and that is community displays. So
find the craziest house in your neighborhood.
If this looks like your neighbor Kenny's house, it's because this is community displays can be a lot of different things. There's HOA regulations on some displays on what they can do, but a lot of the time, if you have a community effort like this, it is literally just like whatever their imagination and their budget can entail, that's what they do. This particular image is from the early days of a community experience, which has since become very popular for travelers even, which is the Lights on Meredith. Mm-hmm. And the reason I followed them and they stumbled across my Instagram feed is because they actually did a Disney theme, I think in 2020, but maybe a year before.
Like Happily Ever After.
They recreated the Happily Ever After fireworks show, which Disney enthusiasts will know, like that's one of the best shows. And I think that was the year that they retired it because of the pandemic. So they brought it back in their light show on their house with projections and sound mapping and whatnot. So it's gotten far more complex than this that you're seeing here. Because this was an early effort and it's since grown quite a bit. But a lot of communities do that too. You've heard of like the Halloween decoration, the Stranger Things, like Max levitating off the ground. That's a crazy Halloween decoration, right? People are passionate about Halloween, but people are also passionate about Christmas. And a lot of people will do like projection mapping and sound design and put together entire shows that pop off on like an hourly basis.
Yeah. And sometimes like whole neighborhoods or streets will get invested and will put on fantastic displays as I guess like in solidarity, but maybe also a little competition. So I think it can be really cool.
Were you going to talk about the Miracle on 34th?
I mean, eventually I thought we were going to talk about Miracle on 34th.
That's kind of, you just described it.
Okay. Well, that did start. So I don't know. Do we have a picture of that or not?
No, this is the picture.
Okay. So in our area, we do have a 34th Street in Baltimore. And many of you may be familiar with the Miracle on 34th Street film, or multiple films, actually. So I don't know when it started. I think it could have been many as like 40 to 50 years ago.
It's been going for a minute.
The families on 34th Street in Baltimore, and you have to picture these are like row houses, would put on just fabulous light displays, and it used to carry on through like the entire street, and the lights would go across to the
It still
houses.
does.
And it's, I mean, I think most of the houses still participate, but I think it's maybe gotten maybe a little less enthusiasm over the years, but it's still really cool.
So
you can park, you can basically, there's people selling like hot chocolate and cookies, and you can go
that's
around.
what I was going to say. What makes the experience unique, and a lot of communities are doing this when they do this community effort, when they all get together with their, homeowners association and they say, this is what we're doing this year. They have the ability to then close off the street because it's private roads. So if everyone agrees they can do that, that they can do that. And that's what they do on 34th Street. They just shut down the street. You park up the road a little bit, you walk down, and every house participates in this amazing display. And then they have, like you said, like the hot chocolate vendors on the side that are just like, here, cup of hot chocolate for like $1. It was $1 when we went, but that was like more than 10 years ago.
But I remember there's like people who put like, who have all of those like old-fashioned like blow molds in their yard, or they have like a whole like ice skating display, or they even have done up their windows like a shop window where they have like the classic like old moving Santas and stuff like that. I mean, there was one where we had took a picture next to like a Muppet, like a Kermit the Frog.
It was
display.
So cute. It was like a whole bunch
so
of Christmas Kermits.
Yeah.
And I mean like a bunch, like more than the average person should have.
Yeah.
And they made a pile of it.
I think there was even like a very specific like Disney themed house that had like Mickey and Minnie and Christmas outfits and stuff like that. So
if you do a sweep on Facebook or even Google, looking for like community lights displays, you will see a significant number in the leg lamp.
I love the leg lamp.
Everyone seems to have a leg lamp but us.
I mean, that can be rectified.
Everyone, what I was going after with my previous statement is that, like, if you do a sweep for community displays, you will find something within 10 minutes of your house. Like, almost certainly there is a community that gets really excited about Christmas and does like this kind of like group display to kind of energize the season. And a lot of them are pretty cool with people like walking up on their house and just seeing their work.
Yeah.
A lot of these, like the lights on Meredith as pictured here, is a destination experience. People will travel from state to state just to see their projection show, which goes off like they have to post times in Instagram and on Facebook saying like, it's going to go off at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then everyone needs to leave because my 4-year-old needs to go to bed.
Yeah.
But it's really cool. And it's part of our holiday tradition every year that, whether or not we drive to something like this, we do drive around our neighborhood and the adjacent neighborhoods and kind of look for Christmas lights or holiday lights if you prefer. But just something to get you kind of energized about the season. And we love looking at pretty lights. So
I like it. Love it. The more honestly, sometimes the tackier the better. Sometimes I just love to see what people can do and what they're passionate about.
It's a small but sentimental part of the holiday onset.
Yeah.
And so we make it a priority. So if you have anything like this near you, check it out. That's a very soft landing to end on, but that's where we chose to end because that was
If you're watching this back, feel free to leave a comment about your favorite holiday event or what gets you excited for the season.
Well, and the other thing is, like, these are things...
Or if you've been down any of the ones we mentioned.
These are the things that we've done that we can recommend to you. Not all of them are theme parks. A lot of them are because we love doing theme parks for the holiday experiences. But also, there's a lot of events, theme park and not theme park, that we have on our bucket list that we want to check out. We'd like to do more. It's hard to travel in December and November because there's a lot of obligations that pull us in a lot of different directions. But we try every once in a while to do a little bit more traveling so we can see more of what the world at large has to offer during the holiday season. So we got a lot on our bucket list that we want to check out too.
Yep.
So if you have something to add to that bucket list, feel free to add that to the comments as well, because the bucket list is ever growing.
Ever growing.
And it might be talked about again in a live stream not that long from now. You never know. All right, y'all. To close it out tonight, our creative spotlight, which kind of, again, became a Girl Power creator spotlight.
Keep it going.
Not intentional. It just happened. But these are all... creators or channels, influencers that I think do showcase some of what makes the holidays fun and special. These were the names that came to my mind first and foremost when we were putting together the PowerPoint. So BGW fangirls, as the name might imply, Busch Gardens Williamsburg natives who are in the parks very, very regularly, take great photos of every season, have already transitioned over to the holiday season because Busch Gardens has already transitioned over to the holiday season. So if you're interested, be sure to check out their Instagram, which is where they post most of their content, their YouTube, and they do have a Twitter X. I'm not sure if they use it regularly, but I included it because it was there. So Instagram is their primary, and I highly recommend their work. Chris the Girl is a very good friend of our friends Chad and Vanessa from 2 Tickets to Adventure, who are in the chat, but also a friend of our channel, and puts out really good content that's very heartwarming and soulful. Instagram, Threads, Facebook, YouTube is, I believe, the primary right now, but also TikTok and Instagram exist, and therefore every creator must pump out content.
Yeah.
And then soaring over the magic is our dear friend Kim, who is very much a Christmas person and is very excited about the holidays.
Already has taken some great photos of the Walt Disney World parades and festivities.
I believe that Instagram is her primary right now, but she's been building up a presence on Threads and Facebook. And there's stuff from previous seasons on YouTube as well. I don't think she's doing active vlogging anymore, but her content lives on. So if you haven't seen it, it's definitely worth checking her out as well. And our next live stream is going to be on December 3rd. We have now done 2 in a row, which means we are caught up. So we will not be back next week. We will be back 2 weeks from now. You make it sound like it's a terrible thing.
It's not.
We love talking to you all.
It would be a lot to do this every week.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do try to set a schedule that that's why we don't post every day or even 2 or 3 times a week, because it's just too much.
That's why we don't make promises about when we post.
I make soft promises about
we
try to post on Fridays.
But we
do live streams every other Tuesday. But sometimes we drop one.
Except when we don't.
Sometimes we gotta drop one. But we are on schedule for the moment, and we should be back to talk with you all again on December 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for joining us. And feel free, as we said, to drop a comment letting us know what your favorite thing is to do during the holidays, because we're very interested.
Yeah,
we want to know.
Love to hear Rex.
Love to hear more things we can be doing.
Well, it will be December when we next see everyone. So for the Americans listening, have a good Thanksgiving, and I guess we'll see you in 2 weeks.
We'll catch up during the holidays properly. Take care, y'all. Thanks so much. I'm Tim.
I'm Katie.
And every night
is a new adventure.
And we'll see you again soon. Thank you.